Okay, we are going live right now on several different platforms. We're actually going live here using StreamYard on our LinkedIn account, our Facebook group, Sales Revolution. So we're going live to 11,000 plus people in the Facebook group. We're also going live on YouTube, and on my phone, we are also going live over here on IG. So if I go back and forth between my desktop, where I'm talking to our Facebook group, my LinkedIn, my YouTube, and then I come over here to my phone to IG. Don't think I'm crazy, but I'm just going live in both places. Now, today, if you are a salesperson, if you're a coach, if you're a small small business entrepreneur or whatever, or you or a larger company, you have salespeople that continually get these type of objections. Your price is just too high for us, or you know what, this is just too expensive, or you know what, we just really need to think this through to make sure that we have the budget for this, or you know, we just need to keep looking around at different quotes. If you are getting those objections, it's because, and it's not your fault, it's because you don't understand the right questions to ask to get your prospects to think results-based thinking over price-based thinking. It is a massive difference. How do you get the prospect to go from price-based thinking of this is too much, or we don't have the budget for that, or I need to keep looking around, to results-based thinking? So today, I'm going to give you about 8 different questions that you can ask during the sales process. Doesn't matter if you sell B2C, B2B, doesn't matter what products or services you sell. We train hundreds of different industries at this point that you can use that will eliminate most, if not all, of those type of objections from even happening. All right. Now, if you are brand new to our Facebook group, or let's say you're on IG, this new IG account that we have, and you're like, who the hell is this guy going live? I am the founder, or like if you're watching it here on LinkedIn, that I'm on my desktop, or our YouTube account, or like I said, you're new to our Facebook group, Sales Revolution. I am the chairman and founder of Seventh Level. So we're an organization that helps sales professionals exactly like you. So we help salespeople, we help coaches, sales executives, managers, business owners, entrepreneurs, and we help you transform the way you and your team sell by learning specific skilled questions and techniques that actually work with human behavior. That means it works with human beings rather than working against human behavior. There is a massive difference if we don't understand that. Now, those are called neuro-emotional persuasion questions. It stands for NEPQ. We teach you the right tonality that puts your prospects at ease, eliminates sales pressure, what a novel concept, and actually triggers your prospects to want to engage with you, to want to open up to you, because they feel like you're being open to them, okay? We talk about self-persuasion. Now, along the way, if you want to know more details about how we can help you train, how we can train you to sell a lot more of your products and services than you are now, like we have for thousands of our clients. If you are in our Facebook groups, especially Sales Revolution, you'll see about 7 to 10 new testimonials daily, 7 days a week, month after month after month. We have over 4,100 and some testimonials in the last 2.5 years. Most of them have been posted in the Facebook group or on our ads. If you want to be like those people and get massive results for you and your teams, in the comment section, whether you're here on IG, or whether you're on our YouTube or LinkedIn, or you're in the Facebook group, just post hashtag NEPQ, post hashtag NEPQ, and either myself, our CEO, Matt Ryder, or Vice President Marco can message you more details to see if we can help you as well. Now, if you're on the live right now, so if you're in our Facebook group, or if you're on LinkedIn or YouTube, that I'm going live right now on my desktop, or if you're on IG, doesn't matter, here on my phone, in the comments section, I want you to post hashtag live. So if you're on live right now, post hashtag live. And if you're on the replay, I'm going to have you post hashtag replay. So if you're on the live right now, post hashtag live. If you're on the replay, go ahead and post hashtag replay. Now, especially if you're in the Facebook group right now, or wherever you're at, IG, I think there's probably a like button as well. If you're on live right now or the replay, I want you to go smash the heart button several times. So go ahead and smash, especially if you're in our Facebook group, smash the like button, and I want you to smash the heart button. So smash the like button, smash the heart button several times. The reason why we have you do that, it creates more engagement in our Facebook group, more people are able to see the live. I think on IG you can do that. I'm new to IG, so I apologize. But more people can see the live, they'll be able to see this training, and it's going to help them sell more as well. Okay, enough about me. None of you care about me. Let's get to the actual training, all right? So if you're on IG, okay, we do have the heart button on IG. There you go. Smash the heart button, smash the like button, creates more engagement, more people are able to see the training. All right, so if you are like I said, a salesperson, a coach, an entrepreneur, or a business owner who manages teams, or you're a sales manager who manages team, and your salespeople are constantly getting these objections. Your price is too high. Oh, your price is just too high for us. Or, we need to look around at other quotes. We need to look around at your competitors. Or, we need to think this over to see if we can budget for this. Or, this is just too expensive for us. These objections, for the most part, can be prevented. Let me repeat that. These objections that I just gave you, for the most part, every once in a while you'll still get them, and we'll show you in our virtual training courses how to help them overcome that. But for the most part, 75-80% of that can be prevented. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you 8, maybe 9, if you're lucky, NEPQ questions. That stands for Neuro-Emotional Persuasion questions that help your prospects to shift their way of thinking from the lowest price way of thinking to results-based thinking, okay? Now, some of these that I'm going to give you are going to be more tailored to a B2C prospect. That means business to consumer prospect if you sell B2C. Others that I'm going to give you are going to be more tailored to B2B if you sell to businesses, okay? That type of prospect. Now, I'm going to point out the differences in those when I give those to you. Now, also, I'm getting some people that are messaging me here on IG, and some people I'm noticing here are messaging me on LinkedIn. If you want to join our free Facebook group, I will have somebody in the comment section here on IG and LinkedIn. I'm going to have somebody on our team, probably Val or Luke or Chris, post our Facebook group. You can join that for free, just a 2-question survey that we ask you so we know what industry you're in and what products or services you sell. It just gives us more data so we know how to train you better. And right when you join, what we do is we DM you. So check your messenger on Facebook. We'll actually DM you a free hour and 20-minute training on how to overcome objections. We give about 10 different objections on there with me and my Vice President of Sales, Marco, from let me think it over to your price is too high. We don't have the money for this. Can you call me back? Send me more information. We don't need this right now. We're not interested. We already have somebody that does that. Or, can you just send me a proposal? All of those objections, we show you how to actually get them to overcome them. We give you a free training when you join the Facebook group. So there it is if you want to join. All right. Now, by using these questions, what I'm going to show you, if you use these questions, like I said, it gets them to look at the value of what you're offering, your solution, okay? Solving their problems, meaning getting them results, over lower price solutions that might not solve the problems that they have. Remember, value always outweighs the price if and only if you know the right questions that pulls out the emotion and the pain and helps them relive the pain from your prospect. So here's the first question I'm going to give you. Go ahead and write this down. This is more of a B2B example that I'm going to give you right now. John, can you walk me through the criteria you use when picking a company to solve these type of issues you talked about? Let me repeat that. Sally, can you walk me through the criteria that you guys use when you're picking a vendor to solve these issues you talked about? Now, why would I want to ask that question? Because that question, first of all, does 2 things. It helps you first understand the decision-making process in that company's organization. So you're prepared, okay, if you sell B2B, to bring in other decision makers to that sales process, which you have to do, otherwise you're dead, okay? It also helps you see if the cost is more important to this company than them getting results, which sets up other questions that you will then need to ask them to get them out of that way of thinking, okay? Now, I'm going to give you another question here, okay? This is more B2B tailored, and I'm going to show you some B2B examples right after. John, how do you measure success with who you're using now? Let's say if they're already with a company or one of your competitors, it doesn't matter. John, how do you measure success with who you're already using? Or Sally, how do you measure success with who you use now? Now, this question helps your prospect see in their mind that maybe the company they are using now is not really getting them where they want to be. It also helps them open up to what you're offering them. That's more of a B2B example, okay? Now, let me give you a few more. Let's suppose you're looking at, no, here's a different question here, okay? This can be used for B2B and B2C. So this can be used for B2B and B2C. Make sure you write this down. Okay, let's suppose that you're looking at several different companies who all, now, you only ask this question if you know they're also meeting with your competition. So let's say if you sell window replacement and you know that they've already told you in the beginning that they've got 4 other companies coming out that week, okay? If you know they're already meeting with your competitors, B2C or B2B, you would ask this question. If they're not meeting with your competitors, you would not ask this question because then it could hurt you, okay? But if they are, here's your ask. Okay, let's suppose that you're looking at several different companies who all meet your criteria, including the price. How would you then decide what to do? Let's suppose that you're looking at several different companies who all meet your criteria, including the actual price. How would you then decide who to go with? Now, why would I want to ask that question? You can use that for B2B and B2C if you know they're meeting with your competitors well. Why do I want to ask that? Because it helps you find out the key things that you will need in your sales process to help this prospect move forward with your solution, especially if you know they're meeting with other competitors. They're going to tell you, well, we're also really concerned about this, or we really need to know about this. That totally will help you dominate your competitors, because I guarantee you your competitors will never even know how to ask that damn question, okay? 100% of the time. Now, how about this question? This can be used B2B and B2C. Okay, you had mentioned that the most important thing to you is cost. Can I ask how that compares to you actually getting results and being able to solve that problem, though? See how you use that. Now, I'm coming here on IG, but I'm also going live on my desktop in our Facebook group, Sales Revolution, and LinkedIn and YouTube. So if I go back and forth, don't think I'm crazy. I'm not ignoring you over here on my phone on IG. And if you on my desktop, if I'm coming over to the phone, I'm not crazy. I'm just trying to help both of you on here, all the different platforms. Okay, so let me repeat that. Okay, you had mentioned that the most important thing to you is cost. Can I ask how that compares to you actually getting results and being able to solve the problem, though? Notice how I did that hand gesture when I do that. Now, why do I ask that? Because that question gets your prospect to do what? Start focusing on results-based thinking rather than price-based thinking, that maybe they should get more funding or money to actually solve the problem and get them the result they want. It helps you not become commoditized like most salespeople get, where they just compete on price. You do not want to be, scooched over here by the prospect in this little corner with all these other salespersons and commoditized on price. You will get crushed. Here's another question, okay? Now, this one would be mainly used for B2B. You would not use this question for B2C, okay? Okay, let's suppose that we're able to make these changes for you and get you that type of increase in profitability. What would you do with that type of cash flow coming in? Okay, so let's suppose that we're able to make those changes for you and get that type of increase in your profitability. What would you do with that type of cash flow coming in, though? Well, we would do this. We would be able to scale. We'd be able to hire more employees. That's a B2B example, blah, 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 blah. That's the logical part that they're going to do with that extra money. Then you would ask this question to pull out their emotions. Okay, but you being able to do those things, what would that do for you personally? That's where it's at. This question gets them to look at what we call their objective state, okay, what their future is going to look like once all of their problems are solved. This is the key for them to attach themselves to wanting to solve the problem, and it builds urgency for them to want to do this now, not later. Okay, let me give you another example of a question you could use. This is also primarily just for B2B. I'm going to give you a few more B2C examples here in a second. I know on IG we have a lot of people that sell B2C as well. Okay, now, you had told me that your company has budgeted XYZ dollars to fix this problem. Can I ask how that was determined? You told me that your company had budgeted $500,000 to fix this issue. Can I ask how that was determined? Now, Why the hell would I want to ask that question in a B2B sales example? Because it helps you uncover two things. It helps you uncover who the real decision makers are in the organization in a B2B selling, complex selling environment. Okay, because maybe you're on with two of them and they say, well, our CEO decides that, or our CFO. Now you know you need to bring that person into the sales process too. It also helps you see more of the whole picture of the company's funding. And if you need to pull other decision makers into that process, it also sets up the next question I'm about to give you much better. Once they tell you what that budget is, you then ask if it's below your price point. So if they say, they come back and say, our budget's around 100,000, but your solution is going to be 200, well, that could be a problem. So when they say our budget's going to be 100, this is exactly what you say. Okay. You're going to say this. Yeah, that could be a problem. Do you feel the budget you've been given is sufficient to actually solve this problem? See how I said that? I'm acting like I can't help you solve this unless you can get your funding together. There's nothing I can do. I'm not saying that, but I'm implying that. That's if you sold B2B. Okay, so let me give you this again. So you're setting that up. When they say, we got a budget for 250,000 if you're selling to a corporation, okay? But let's say your solution costs 350 and you know that. So I'm going to set it up by asking this question, okay? Okay, you told me that your company had budgeted around 350,000 to fix this problem. Can I ask how that was determined? Well, it's because of this, because of that, because of this. Okay, I see. Yeah, that could be trouble. Do you feel the budget that your CEO has given you is going to be sufficient to actually solve this problem? That does what? It gets that person or persons, or maybe even the board, to question in their mind, okay, if the questions in their mind, if the budget they've been allocated by a different department head would actually be enough to solve the problems that they just told you they had, and more importantly, they told themselves they had. Now, let me give you a little personal story. So we started 7th Level almost about 3 years ago, and one of the first clients that we had, as far as, besides individual salespeople training them, the first company we actually trained was actually Google AdWords. I know we went straight to the top. We didn't mess around with smaller companies. We just somehow got into Google, okay? There was a little bit of a process to that, but I'll explain that in another training. Now, we trained 4 of their divisions, okay? When I got into this meeting, I was in a meeting with about 6 different decision makers, all of that department. There was like 4 departments and like 2 in each. So I think there's about 8 people there or something like that. None of them had ever sold, okay? They all had like their MBAs and their PhDs from Stanford and Harvard and all these prestigious schools. And here I am, just Jeremy Minor, like who cares about this, knob or whatever he's doing. But basically, because of my questioning skills, within about 20 minutes, they realized that they were losing millions of dollars in sales that they could be making, that they didn't even know they had this problem before I got into the boardroom meeting. It was actually on my first appointment with them, okay? Now, what they said was this, and this is how most corporations work. And like I said, I'm going live here on my phone on IG, and then on my desktop, I'm live here in the Facebook group and LinkedIn and YouTube. So I'm going to go back and forth. Don't make fun of me. But basically, they said after that conversation, wow, this is great. Like, this is going to help us so much. Oh, my gosh. Like, we're going to be able to scale these 3 divisions. And they were talking about all the money and where they were going to do with it. And they were going to expand this division and that division and all that stuff. And that's the way they work. Those companies have department heads that are like CEOs of their own little department. They don't go to like the CEO of Google to see if they have the budget for sales training. The department heads get certain amounts of budgets for different things. Once they've allocated that budget for the year, that's it. There's no more budget. They have to wait to the next year. Now, they came back to me at the end of that meeting and said, man, we really like this. This is going to be great. Like, we're going to make, an extra 10 million in each division per month. Like, we're going to be able to scale these, blah, 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 blah. But here's the problem, Jeremy. We have a certain budget we have every year from training that corporate gives to us. We've already allocated that for the year, and we have to wait till they release the new budget for training for the next year, and that's going to be January 15th. Well, maybe that wasn't a problem if it was December 30th, but the problem was it was like September 8th. And I know, just like you, that a company saying that they're going to go with your solution 5 months later, that there's probably a 95% chance that they're not, because things change, especially in companies like that. Department heads get fired. They get moved around. They forget about the problem. Something happens. I knew that there'd probably be a 95% chance that that deal would not go through if I just said, okay, can you call me back then? No, stop being a pansy. You have to know the right questions to ask. Okay. So what I did is like, yeah, that's not a problem. And you can get back to me on when you'll get your funding together to solve those problems. And then I said, now a minute ago, before I leave, you'd said something about your salespeople that you're hiring. You're losing a lot of those salespeople. What did you mean by that? And I started digging into another angle. Now, within about 15 minutes from that, I found, and more importantly, I helped them realize that they were losing about 50% of their sales teams every 90 to 120 days. So what that means is they would hire 10 salespeople, and within 3 months, 5 of those salespeople would quit, go somewhere else, or just get out of sales because they weren't making that many sales. So they weren't making that much money. Now, not only did I help them realize that they were losing 50% of their salespeople, but my questions allowed them to see the cost it was taking them to then go out back to the recruiting agency they used, to be able to get that recruiting agency to go out and find more salespeople, to then bring them onboard them, go through, management, go through product training, all those people they had to hire to do that every single week, week after week after week. Within 20 minutes, they saw that they were losing about $5 million a month just in those 4 divisions because of the attrition. So they started to realize that if they wait 5 months, not only are they going to lose millions of sales that they could have been making from our training to get them to that level, but they would also be losing about 4 to 5 million a month in turnover by losing all those salespeople month after month after month. So if they waited 5 months, 5 million a month in turnover cost times 5 months is 25 million. Or they could just get the funding together from a different department, rob Peter to pay Paul, and actually fix the problem right now. So which was more risky to them? Because we were just going to, I think we charged them like close to $70,000 for us to come in for 3 days of classroom training, because we didn't even have a virtual training platform then like we do now. Okay. We just had classroom training when we first started 3 years ago. So it's going to cost them around $70,000 for me to come in about 6 hours a day for 3 days, 3 days that week, and train them how to solve that problem. So you know what they did? The vice president of whatever she was, who had her PhD from Stanford, she was like 26. She was younger than me, had never been in sales, picked up the phone, called somebody, said, hey, we need to move over $70,000 from this department into this account. And then can you get the wire information from this gentleman, from his assistant? And can you go ahead and send that money today? And when I walked out of that room about an hour later, because we were doing some other stuff, they were showing me around, the funds had already hit the account. Okay. Because in Google's mind, for my questions, not by me telling them which was more risky, because that's just going to go in one ear out the other. If I told them their problems and what they should do and how I could fix them, whoop, one ear out the other, not going to change. But because the questions I asked them allowed them to visually see how much money they were losing every single month and visually see how I could solve that for them, which was more risky for them? Was it more risky for them to get $70,000 from another department to solve the problem? Or was it more risky for them to wait another 5 months, their salespeople keep quitting, turnover high, sales keep going down, and they lose another $25 million? Which is more risky? That is the power once you learn the right questions to ask at the right time, which we teach all of that in our virtual training courses, okay? Now, let me give you a few more questions and I'm going to end this, all right? Now, in this example, this can be used for B2C, you sell business to consumer, and B2B, okay? So, okay, but I guess which is more, so this is if they have an objection or a concern, and you go through everything, you try to resolve it, and they're just like, I don't know, like, I'm just afraid of this or blah, blah, blah. Well, you tell me, which is more risky? And this is a generic example. This is not industry specific of what I'm doing for you. I'll give you industry specifics here in a minute, okay? Just as an example. Well, you tell me, which is more risky? Getting the funds together to get to XYZ so that you can, and you're going to repeat back what they said they wanted? Or is it more risky for you guys to do nothing at all? The problem stays the same. You stay in the status quo and nothing ever changes. Which is more risky? See how I did that? See my facial expressions, my tonality? That's something you have to learn. We teach all that in our virtual training courses. Now, let me give you an example of how this would look in a few different industries. Okay, I don't have time to go through hundreds of different industries that we change, but I'm going to give you two here. Let's say in this example, because I was just working on one of these scripts this morning for a company that we train their salespeople. Let's say in this example, you sold e-commerce training for people who want to start their own like Amazon or e-commerce Shopify type of business, okay? Now, you can ask this question if you cannot resolve their concerns and it comes back around to they're just afraid to make the change or send in money or whatever. Well, John, you tell me which is more risky. I mean, is it more risky to get the funding together to start your own business, to build out your store so you can make more money and leave your job? Or is it more risky for you to do nothing at all? You stay at the same income in your job and nothing ever changes. Which is more risky? See how that works? Okay. You've now matched up with this person getting the funding together. If they can do that, if they can get the funding together, they get what they want. If they can't get the funding together, they don't get what they want. You see how you've done? Funding into the result, not price-based thinking. You don't want to be there. Funding gets them what they want. If they can't get the funding, they don't get what they want. Okay. Now, in this example, let's say if you sell life insurance, I'll show you how that kind of works for that industry. Once again, you'd plug in any product, service industry. It doesn't matter. We train hundreds of different industries at this point. Let's say if you sold life insurance, it's the same thing, no matter what industry you're in. Will you tell me, Sarah, I mean, which is more risky? Getting the funds together to get the financial protection for your wife and kids so when you do pass away, they're 100% protected and they can pay off the mortgage? Or is it more risky to do nothing at all, stay in the status quo, something happens to you, and then your spouse is left having to get a second job just to try to pay the mortgage and the expenses? Which is more risky? See how I did that? Okay. Do you see how the question gets them thinking results-based thinking over price-based thinking? Okay. That's all I have for you today. Now, folks, if you're on IG, if you're on LinkedIn or YouTube right here that we're going live, or the Facebook group, and you want to learn these type of skills, in the comment section, just post #NEPQ. I just gave you a little hors d'oeuvre. It's like a little hors d'oeuvre so you can taste what that type of success looks like, okay? Just gave you a little bit. I gave you like 1% of the 1% that we train in our virtual training courses and our group training exercises, okay? If you want to learn those type of details, in the comments section, post #NEPQ. If you're on our IG and you haven't joined our free Facebook group, go ahead and do that now. Val just posted that link in there. You can join the Sales Revolution Facebook group for free. We don't even charge you for that. We go live in there. I'm going live in there right now. We go live in there about 3 to 4 times a week with different trainings, different Q&As. In fact, we have a Q&A session where you can ask me any question on sales on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. You can just log into the Facebook group and boom, you can ask me any question they have on sales. If you're in the Facebook group and you want to know more details, if you're on IG, if you're on LinkedIn, you want to know more details about how we can train you to make a ton of money in sales, or your teams to double and triple the results they're getting or more, like we have for thousands of our clients, in the comment section, post #NEPQ, #NEPQ, either myself, I'm not that cool though, Jeremy Miner, or Matt Ryder, our CEO, or our Vice President Marco will message you more details to see if we can help you as well. Folks, congratulations. Thanks for being on. We will be going live in the Facebook group only tomorrow. So not on IG, not on LinkedIn or YouTube. Tomorrow, I will be going live with one of our clients. We do it every week. We interview usually 1 or 2 different clients every single week. I'm going to interview this client, and we're going to break down her sales process for you for about 30 minutes, show you what questions she's using to build urgency in the sale that we've taught her. We're going to break down her whole sales structure for about 30 minutes. So if you want to learn those skills, join the free Facebook group. I'm telling you guys, NEPQ 2.0 is a trailer full of value bombs on myself and the NEPQ 2.0 from M. Rashada. And 2.0 is just our basic training platform. Once you get into advanced 3.0 or advanced inner circle, it's like 10 times more than just 2.0, but 2.0 is a great place to start for sure. All right, so join our free Facebook group. We will be going live in there tomorrow. If you're on IG or LinkedIn or YouTube, make sure you join the free Facebook group. On Wednesdays, I only go live in the Facebook group. I don't go live anywhere else. We'll break down this client's sales process. You'll see exactly what questions she's asking. You'll be like, I can use that question for what I sell, or I can use this for this, and it's going to help you sell more. All right, folks, we'll see you. I'm stopping the live on IG, and I'm going to stop the live here on LinkedIn, the Facebook group, and YouTube. You're welcome. I'll see everybody soon. Thanks, everybody.